I'm Apolo Ohno, and welcome to Making Team USA, presented by Xfinity. We're now only 4 weeks out from the start of the Milano Cortina Winter Games, and it feels like the time is going faster now. The countdown is really on. And we're back with another week diving deep into lives and stories of the athletes looking to join Team USA, the toughest team to make. Now, this one is a special one, speed skating. All the sports in the games are equal, but some are more equal than others. Let's take a look. All right, Corinne, welcome to the show, Making Team USA. We're from the same hometown. We've got a very similar background, inline skating to ice. You went to Decatur High School. I went to Decatur High School. And I don't know if you know this, but just a short snippet story. When I was 13 years old, and when I was 12 and 13 years old, and I was trying to go to the nationals for inline skating, my dad didn't have the time to take me to every single after-school practice at Patterson's West. Patterson's West is the local inline skating rink that we kind of grew up in. And so he would wake me up at 3:30 in the morning, drive me to the Decatur empty school parking lot in the back, kind of near where the track is. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he would basically duct tape a light to my helmet, and then I would skate around in those early kind of Seattle, Pacific Northwest morning mist, rain, and I would just skate around at like 12, 13 years old. So that's how my life began, was in a very similar vein. I don't know if you ever did that with your parents, but mine was a little brutal in the mornings.
Yeah, definitely wasn't waking up at 3 a.m. to go skate in the rain. But yeah, I mean, I was training all the time growing up, and my parents were always like up for getting me like lessons, like extra lessons with some more coaching. And I would go and skate in the rain in the afternoon, like after school. And I would do like marathons every Sunday, sometimes on my own, which that was pretty brutal. But yeah.
It was similar because, from my understanding, your mom was the one who said to you, hey, like, there's no Olympics for inlines. You need to make a decision here. Do you want to do short track speed skating, long track speed skating, or continue on this path of inline, right? Mm-hmm. And then you decided on short track.
Yeah, I wanted to finish out my junior years on inline because I was really good at inline at the time, and I wanted to become junior world champion. So after I accomplished that, I fully moved out to Salt Lake City, and I chose short track because I liked the thrill of racing other people and the strategy and just how exciting it is versus long track. Like long track somewhat translates to inline easier than short track with the technical aspect. So that's why most inline skaters go to long track, but I didn't want to do time trials. I wanted to race. So
yeah, time trials suck. It's definitely for like a specific person. I was the same way. Like my time trial could be very weak, but as soon as there was an actual race and strategy, I could really expand. That's where I shined. And by the way, like I know racing obviously very well, and you're a racer, and I'm sure you know that, right? Like you're a true racer.
Yeah, I definitely step up my level in competition versus like my level in training. Like I'm always working really hard in training, but something about the adrenaline in racing really gives me an extra step up in my performance.
Yeah. Well, 2022 was your first Olympics and kind of exposure to what that looked like. It was a very different Olympics in those Beijing Games, right? Because I was supposed to be there. There was not a lot of people that were even able to go and watch and spectate and take part in those Olympic Games. So it was very unique for you. Your first experience did not go to plan. Can you walk me through like what that was like and how challenging that was?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Beijing was not the normal Olympic experience. It was just the athletes in the arena and the coaches. And other than that, it was pretty dead silent. So I am looking forward to Milan on having like a crowd atmosphere and feeling like it is like the whole world watching you. But yeah, my first race in Beijing did not go to plan. I stepped on the ice and I was like, for some reason, like so nervous. Like I
don't know why you were nervous. It's only the Olympics, Corinne.
Yeah, exactly. And also going into that Olympics, like, you know, with my level at that point, I was still really young and like hadn't had that much short track experience. So I knew I wasn't going into that Olympics with like the potential to go get an individual medal, but I still had goals that I wanted to reach. Like I wanted to get a top 10 in something and stuff like that. So I feel like that I just like was so nervous, and I stepped on the ice, and it was the 500 meter. And as soon as we started racing, like I was like all over the place. Like my technique was out the window. I like could not get through the corner. And I think it was like the second lap is when I crashed, and I went feet first into the boards, which is also like something I never do. Like we're taught how to crash in short track. And you have to lift your feet up because you could break your leg. Luckily I didn't break my leg, but I did unfortunately have my knee go straight into my face and I broke my nose.
On your first race?
Very first race.
Wow, that is not the plan. Yeah, you really
not to plan. And we had the mixed relay that day as well, and we did have a really good chance at medaling in that.
Wait, did you race after breaking your nose?
Yes.
Wait, how does that work? Did you have some like protective gear like that you could?
No, that day, like after the 500, I rested the heat round, so it goes like heat semifinal. We had another skater go in for the heat, and they made it to the semis. And then actually, I remember Andrea Doduk, which is our one of our staff members in U.S. speed skating, J.R. Selski's wife, came into the room, and I'm like laying there on the table, and I'm just like so like, you know, my face hurts. I like feel ill. Like I just broke my nose. She's like, "Can you race? Like, do you want to get a medal? You want to get an Olympic medal?" Like she pumped me up, you know, and got me to like, you know, feel back alive and be like, yeah, okay, I can go out there and race. So like really thankful for her doing that. And I, you know, went in the heat box, tied my skates, got ready. I remember blood like coming out of my nose in the heat box while I'm tying my skates. Oh my God. Yeah, it was nonstop bleeding. Like I had like tampons up my nose.
Wait, actual tampons?
Yeah, not with the strings, but they look like little tampons, you know?
Even better.
And my nose was crooked too. It was definitely broken before we even got x-rays. We knew it was broken. And then I went out on the ice, and even I had to start the race. And on the start, I like feel the blood coming, like dripping down onto the ice. Yeah, not a great experience, but the race went really well. I skated really well. We technically did qualify to the final. And then unfortunately we got penalized after the, like 5 minutes after the race for
I remember
something that no one had ever been penalized before for. It was a pretty crazy call. We had a lot of people ask us like, how was that a penalty, you know? So that was really disappointing, but I was really proud of myself and my team for going out there and qualifying to the final. And we know we could have, you know, done something special out there in the final, but we had an amazing race. And yeah, it just goes to show like, even if things don't go to plan, you know, 30 minutes, an hour later, like you can just get back out there and start performing like you were supposed to.
Yeah, wipe the slate clean.
Yeah.
Well, I know that the 24 season was what I consider to be, from an outside looking in and talking to Steve Goff, your coach, was kind of one of your breakout years. But then I would say even fortifying that even further this year in this Olympic season has been, you've really stepped it up. I mean, everything from your lap times, the confidence in your racing style, I think just your fearlessness of going to the front of the pack, especially in the women's 1,000 meters, and kind of leading and taking charge, accelerating with 6 laps to go, 7 laps to go, not being afraid to hold that. These are strong traits. What changed for you from 24 to 25 going into this Olympic season?
Yeah, I think 24, I really started to recognize like, wow, I'm like right there. I'm like, you know, I got my first gold medal in 24. And I was, you know, consistently on the podium, and I was like, wow, I'm like right there. Like, I just need like one extra notch, you know? And so when we came back this season for the Olympic season, I mean, I really tried to, you know, step up my game in every training. Like, you know, I was skating with the boys consistently, doing the whole program with the boys. I was like trying to lead for the boys. And I think like training with them and Kristen Santos Griswold, like we're both pushing each other in training all the time, like trying to beat each other, which, you know, obviously brings our level up, further and further. And, just seeing over the summer how much I improved. Like my speed was insanely better. This year, my 500 meter is like way better than it was in previous seasons. I'm like consistently on the podium now in the 500, whereas before I wasn't even making the final. So that was really good. And then also my endurance this summer, really, I stepped it up as well. I already had really good endurance, but this summer my endurance was crazy. We did like a 25 lap starting at 9:05. And we had 5 boys lead. So it was like everyone led 5 laps. And at the end, at 2 to go, I passed the last boy and dropped everyone. And I was like, okay, I think I could do something special this year.
It's the confirmation, right? You get these kind of evidence-based confirmation. You win some medals, you prove to the world that you're good, and then the training feels like it's like fortifying this confidence. It's like, yeah, like I can do this. Like, and then you get hungry. Like once you taste it, it's like you want more of it, right? It gets very addictive.
Yeah, this summer I was like, just like every time I was doing better and better, I was like, wow, like this is going to be like a great year, and it's the Olympic year. And the whole summer I was just really excited to get into racing.
Yeah. Talking about the technical part of your sport, right?
Yeah.
I know it's changed tremendously, but I think it probably remains the same, that when your technique is on point, when you're, at least for me, leading up into the final Olympic Games, I'm just focused on all of these very basic but important aspects of the technique, because it's like when your technique is dialed in speed skating, the biomechanics, it's almost like you've gotten 50% stronger in the weight room, but nothing's changed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, everything just feels easier if you're skating correct. And, like all of us, I think everyone on the circuit is always trying to improve their technique. Like you never feel like your technique is perfect. Like you're constantly watching video and seeing where you can get better. Because the more efficient you can be, just like you said, the stronger you feel and the easier skating feels, and the more energy you can have at the end of a race. So yeah, I'm still always like watching video and trying to fix certain things of my technique. Just, little bad habits that you can get better. And
do you think those habits are from inline, your years of skating inline?
So yeah, like when the first couple years on short track was rough because I had so many, they were probably good technique habits for inline, but not for ice. So it was really hard to because I was training to skate like that for inline, and then moving to the ice, I had to skate completely different. So it was really hard to get out of those habits. But I think over the past 2 years, my technique has really improved tremendously, which is also probably a reason for my great results the past 2 years. The first couple of years were really hard though.
Yeah, I can relate to all of that. Is there anything specifically that you are working on as you kind of finish up these last bits of training, like this last block of training?
Yeah, mainly in the apex, sometimes I kind of rush off my right a little too soon, which sometimes makes me break out or lose a little bit of pressure. And you can just see my speed drop a little bit in the corner.
When you say rush, do you mean you're pushing back a little bit?
No, not back, but more just really quick off of it versus riding my right and then skating in the exit. I'm just so
you're running.
Because you want to be fast, but it's kind of counterintuitive. But in speed skating, you shouldn't look like you're trying to go fast.
Right.
It should look kind of effortless, and that's how you go faster.
Yeah.
So yeah, working on my apex. Sometimes I'm rocking back in the exit too. So just little tiny tweaks, working on that at slower speeds so that hopefully at higher speeds it's easier to do.
In speed skating, it's really interesting. There's this really balance between trying too hard and then it's almost like you're trying, but you're not going 100%. It's almost like you're going 90 or 95%. But in doing so, it gives you this patience to have all of your body weight on each leg, and you can transfer that body weight. And people who watch the sport, I think, don't exactly see that, right? There's 7 parts to a push, and it's all transition, and it's seamless. And when you fall into the corner, right? Like kind of always allowing your body to like lean on that foot. It just, when you get it right, there's like no better feeling in the world. It's like very, that like flow is so good. So I'm glad that you are.
Yeah, then you try to hold on to it and you're like, the next day, if it doesn't feel as good as it did the day before, you're like, what was I doing yesterday that felt so good, you know?
Yeah, it's like this, it's very elusive, right? This like being in that flow. I call it being in flow state, when everything is like just seamlessly working together. Skating feels very natural and easy. Speeds come like this. Your endurance feels like it's astronomical. Your strength feels amazing. You can turn on a dime. Oh, it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, some of my fastest lap times are from purposely going 95% versus all out. And it's like, then I go and try to do a set all out and it was slower than the one at 95%. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. In sports psychology, we call that loosening the grip, right? Because your body has thousands of hours of training. It knows exactly what to do, right? The blocks, the 111 meter track never really actually changes in short track. It's always the same. The athletes around you are pretty much the same. The strategies change, but by loosening the grip a little bit, it gives you this calm sense of what's happening. I'll give you some insight from watching many Olympics and having competed in many Olympics. At the Olympics, everyone always rushes. So what typically happens, because the 111 meter track, people typically, they start entering the corner like a little bit earlier than they normally would have, because they're less relaxed. So because that tenseness, it basically creates this motion, right? And when this motion happens, they shorten the track on themselves, which in turn, the speed decreases. The track tightness stays the same because they're being very defensive and protecting the inside lane, but they start running into that entry point as that corner. And those who can remain very calm, cool, and collected, even when leading or even when chasing, can carry that speed almost like a whip, almost like you're whipping it, around. And it's never failed. Every Olympics, it's always like that. And I think a large part of this, Corinne, is because there's so much pressure on us, right? When you're out there, especially in a sport like short track, there's fans everywhere. It's going to be screaming loud. Cameras are in your face. You can barely hear your coaches. And everything feels like it matters because you care so much about this performance. And I think the real critical piece here is just like maintaining this zen, this like calmness. At least it was for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think just studying past Olympics and stuff, like everybody's there with the same goal in mind, which is to stand at the top of the podium. And, we've been working so hard our whole lives for that moment. And some people get really desperate and they don't really remain true to themselves and like stay relaxed and skate the way they know how to. And, just not really skating like they normally would. And I think that desperation gets to the best of some people. And I'm trying to remind myself of that and not to do that to myself.
Yeah. Do you guys work with like a sports psychologist, or is there any like visualization or self-talk that you practice consistently, either in training or in competition?
I don't really work on like self-talk and stuff like that, but I do see a therapist weekly. Just to work on like mental health stuff, because being an athlete can be so difficult in this like high pressure like community and stuff. So working with my therapist weekly and talking to my coaches about how I'm feeling and just being honest, they usually have some good advice for me too.
Yeah, communication's great. I mean, Stephen Goff is an amazing coach. I don't know if Stephen told you this, but many years ago, I competed against Stephen many times towards the tail end of his career. And then he came back and he was my coach very early on. And he was just as masterful with blade technician as probably he is now. He's like truly understands it. And he's an amazing coach. He obviously knows how to build great training programs. And I was the person, I'll take full credit, I was the person to convince him to go full-time back into coaching. He was living in New York, practicing law as an attorney, and I pulled him back because he loved the sport so much. So hopefully you guys are having a really great experience with Steve being your head coach.
Yeah, he's like a huge part in my success and how much I've improved over the past 4 years. Like the amount I've improved from when he first came to now is incredible. It's actually unbelievable watching how I used to skate versus now. And I'm like so appreciative for that. And like you said, he's so precise with the blades and he knows what he's doing. And his training program like never fails me. So I'm just like really grateful that they brought him back again because same thing. He was in New York practicing law during COVID, and then we needed a coach the year of the 2022 games. So he came back, and yeah, I'm so happy he did. At first, I was like, I didn't know who he was, so I was like, we got an email. We got an email like, oh, your new coach is Stephen Goff, and I was like, who's that? And I was nervous because like the year of the Olympics, and we're getting a brand new coach that I'd never heard of before. But yeah, I'm just so grateful that they got him to come back.
Yeah, he's a really great coach, and I'm glad you're having that experience. All right, let's talk about what needs to happen for you to be at your best and feel at your best in Milan. Right, you've just got you got basically like one large training block left. You've got some upcoming stuff, but really there's nothing else left. And then you start tapering and peaking in February. So, like you have like all the makings of hitting the podium. Like you hope you know that. We've seen that. You've proven it to yourself. Now it's all about like sharpening that, getting the technique stuff dialed in, making sure this is really, really strong and ready to race. But like, what has to go well for you on those race days? Like, walk me through the perfect day for Corinne Stoddard.
Perfect day would be to get a good night's sleep. Sometimes I struggle with sleep because just with like performance anxiety and stuff, it's kind of like a really bad cycle because you're like, oh, I need to sleep so that I can perform well. And if I don't sleep well, then I'm not gonna be able to perform. And then like you're trying to sleep, but you're trying too hard, so you can't fall asleep. So I've struggled with that in the past, but I've been doing a lot better with that this year than last year. Last year was like really hard with that. So getting a good night's sleep. And I think we're racing in the evening pretty late. So kind of going to bed late so I can wake up late. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, going to like a really nice Italian bakery in Milan and getting a cappuccino and some like baked good would be really nice. And just relaxing in the morning. Seeing my family and friends. Kristen and I usually room together, and we're really good about distracting each other from the nerves of racing because you don't want to be thinking about racing the whole day before the race because that's just like taking energy away that you don't need to be taking away. So we'll probably like, watch Glee or something together.
Is that the...
That's what we've been watching recently. Okay. We were like... I like was a little too young for Glee, but she's watched it all. So like I was like, I kind of want to like try Glee, and so recently we've been watching Glee when we were together.
What about pre-race routine? Do you listen to music the day of?
Just like when I'm about to warm up. So I don't like listening to music while I'm warming up usually, but like I want to like the hour before I'm gonna warm up, like when I'm eating lunch at the rink, and like. Just because I like to get there 2 hours before the race. So I have an hour to just like decompress and feel like I'm not rushed and everything feels, relaxed. So usually I'll listen to music during that time, or I'll watch TikTok or something to like distract me. And then, I warm up an hour before the race. So like I usually start with like core, some static stretching, and then I move into dynamic stretching. Some like running, I do a really hard bike right before my race, like 35 minutes before my race, I'll do a 10-minute like hard bike to get some lactic acid going. And then, I'll just like, I'd say 20 minutes before my race, I spend 10 minutes in the locker room, just like getting ready, getting dressed, breathing. And then I go to the heat box and like 10 minutes before the race, and I go out there.
And it's game time. All right, So imagine this. You have to explain short track in one sentence to someone who's never seen it before. Go.
It's like track and field on ice, but people are running into each other and crashing and going crazy.
Sounds safe. Yeah. Sounds very safe.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, I've enjoyed watching you compete this year. I hope you know you have really improved, even from last year. Your confidence is shining through. You've proven, especially in the last couple of qualifiers and World Cups, that you are meant to be right there in the mix, in the final. And when it comes down to what's remaining, I think it's sharpening that technique. It's being intentional about what you do. It's embracing the moment and enjoying these Milan Olympics. They are your Olympics, and you will have many of the people who are fans of this sport and all of us in Washington State cheering you on. And that's what this show is all about. It's a showcase what it's like to make Team USA, which is literally one of the hardest, if not, which I believe it is, the hardest team to make, and it's challenging. So once you're on this team, now it's all about kind of putting that ego aside, putting forth your best self and performing at the best ability that you know that you can do. And I know that you can do some extraordinary things in the games. So I'll be there. I'll be in Milan for the full month. I'll be ringside. I'll be cheering all of you on. And I wish you the best, Corinne. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for the words of advice and encouraging me. And yeah, I know that the season I've had so far, I have a very big potential to get on the podium.
The Pacific Northwest has some deep roots in speed skating. You know, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
I think that there's something about when we all started skating, it's produced really, really great athletes. And you are in that lineage, my friend. You are in that group. So these are your games. Enjoy them. You know, it's going to be amazing. And
yeah, I'm really excited, and hopefully I just keep skating how I've been.
You will. There's no hope here. You've done the work. This is mind to muscle memory. You just got some more tweaks to go, and you're going to be skating some 8.0 second lap times back to back. I have no doubt. So
that would be nice.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Corinne. Thanks for taking the time.
I'd love to see a little bit of
Andrew, thank you so much for joining me on Making Team USA. Short track speed skater from PA. Your family got you into the sport, and here you are. You are going into your second Olympic Games, right? You are really had a hell of a season so far. I mean, the ups and downs. You've kind of tasted both the wins and losses. Walk us through, like, what does it feel like? Now you're getting into your second games. Things have changed, the wild world of short track speed skating. But tell the people, man, walk us through, like, what does it feel like?
It's almost like surreal still. I don't think it's fully settled in. Just because like there's no Olympic trials this year, and so there wasn't like a single race that kind of determined me making the Olympic team. But I think as it gets closer and as the games approach, I think it's going to start settling in. And I mean, always just super grateful to my family and my supporters. Definitely couldn't do it without them. And obviously, I'm very faith driven. So, all glory to God, and definitely couldn't do this all without him. So, I think it's great. Super excited to be able to go back to my second games, and obviously more hungry than last time, and definitely want to get some medals this time. So, yeah.
All right, walk me through more recently Dordrecht, right? The infamous 500 meters. You're in this final. For those people who didn't watch this, just walk us through. It's a 30 plus second race. But for those who didn't watch, it's like, tell us how it went down.
Yeah. I mean, going into honestly that whole day, I was not very. I don't want to say like not confident, but I was confident in my abilities. But the race itself was hard, even from the quarterfinals. And so going into that day, I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go out and try my best to see what I can do. You know, obviously, I'm gonna go out there on the line and give everything I have. And the final specifically, yeah, I was six on the line. I got advanced from the semis, and you know, you're six on the line, and usually it's normally five. And just in itself being six, like I didn't really have much expectations for myself. And so I went out there, you know, like I said, being six on the line, I I knew that.
I mean, being 6 on line is hard. That's like really
Right,
hard.
and it's like you got no space. I mean, I was literally on the line, and I had nowhere to go. And so, yeah, I knew Danjanu and Will and Jens were gonna fight. I just kind of almost assumed there was like no way that they wouldn't. And so I wanted to be in a good spot, and I just tried my best to be in the best spot possible to take advantage of that when that did happen. And I was able to make it happen. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, regardless of whether you foresaw that happening or not, that should be confidence, I think, leading into these games. The reason why I asked that stuff, Andrew, is because, as you know, Olympic season and Olympic year is really important to just grab onto any form of confidence that you can get as you get closer to the actual performance day, which is going to be in February in Milan. And short track is a very inconsistent sport. I think we've seen the Canadians do really well this year. They're like exceptionally, like kind of leading from the front.
Right.
And it's, both Courtney and Danjanu are they're crushing, right? They're really crushing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Danjanu has a very different body type than you or than me. And he's actually, I haven't seen that style body type like him since a very old speed skater who's actually their head coach named Marc Gagnon. Right? And Mark was much taller, he had a different style of skating. And traditionally, I think our body types were a little bit more in tune with short track. But from my understanding and talking with your coach, Stephen Goff, the equipment has changed a lot. So bigger athletes can really hold the corner. There's more grip, more consistency.
Right.
How do you do this in your own way, right? Because you have to find your own path.
Yeah, I think for a long time, I was definitely really trying to figure out my skating style, what worked for me, what didn't work for me. And I was very hung up on the fact that, like, I'm not as good off the ice as a lot of the other skaters and just, off ice stuff. And that, I think it was around the time when Steve just came in, and it was around the time of the last Olympic year. And I was so focused on how I wasn't beating all these other people at practice, off the ice and like with running, biking, and I'm not the best off the ice. So Steve really helped me to kind of find my own strengths, because ultimately you're going to go out there on the ice and you're going to race. So what happens there is what matters the most. And I was really able to find my own way of, I would say, technique. And I always tell people, like, I have a weird way of skating. I feel like I have a very different way of skating than other people. Steve has told me, and a bunch of other people have told me, like, I have one of the best techniques, right? But I don't know if it's just because I'm super hard on myself, which I am. But yeah, I always just see myself as just a different skater. And I think everybody else is, everybody has their own way of skating, and everybody's different. You can't skate exactly like somebody else. So it's very important to really skate the way you are able to skate in the best way you can skate. And so, yeah, I try my best. Obviously, Danjanu is totally different skater, totally different body type. But he's obviously making it work very well. So, yeah, I'm just obviously trying to find what works best for me as well. So.
Find your strengths. I think that's really good advice. When you think about what has to happen for yourself as you prepare in this last block of training, walk people through, like, what is short track speed skating training all about? Like, what does a normal week look like for you?
Yeah, so for us, it's Monday through Saturday, or half of those days is around 8 hours a day. Whether it's on the ice or off the ice, in the weight room, doing dry land, or on your own stuff as well, because everything is part of training. So, yeah, I mean, as we're gearing up for the games, I think right now we're kind of just trying to dig ourselves in a hole and try to get as much training in and as possible just before the games, so that we can be obviously the best, in the best shape that we've ever been, so we could bring home medals. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for those people who are not familiar, when you say digging yourself into a hole, we have these training blocks. They're 4 weeks, 8 weeks, sometimes 12 weeks long, where you're stacking on different types of training to fatigue the body, and then as you get closer to competition, you allow the body to rest and recover and regenerate, allowing for this strength again. And so you're training through these periods where your body's already fatigued, your legs burning really fast, and you go through these peaks and valleys. And so getting into the hole is basically like you're just destroying your body to the point, and then you bring it back. And when you bring it back, you create this big bump and peak so that you're stronger, your mind is clear, everything is a lot better. Talk about the mind part. What's your mindset like? You got music that you listen to. Like, what's your vibe? Like, what's your energy going into race day?
In a race day, I get this a lot. Is I'm very like I don't want to say like nonchalant, but like I'm very like stress free, and I try not to worry too much. Like I rarely am like super tense and like, oh my God, I need to like, I'm like freaking out, you know. I don't. I would like to say that I'm not that kind of athlete, but in a sense, in my own way, I am very locked in. Like I know exactly what I need to do, and I'm doing, like I said before, I'm doing what works for me and what I know works for me, in the past. And it might come off as like, oh, he doesn't care, or he's not, you know, really like locked in, but trust me, I got my own ways to kind of self-soothe almost, and ways to kind of deal with that sort of nerves if there are any. And yeah, I have music. Like I said, I'm very faith driven, and so from time to time I listen to some Christian music, or occasionally, if I really want to get hyped, some like really upbeat songs. But yeah, I think for the most part, going to race day, I just try not to think about everything too much, because obviously the mind kills, and I'm very aware of that, and I know that from experience. So I try my best to kind of what do you call it, separate myself from my mind, and not let myself think too much.
And you know exactly what you need to do when you do skate your best and you feel your best. As you prepare for this last block, what are the technical aspects? Because short track is so technical. What are the things that you're really trying to get right and consistent as you open into those doors in Milan?
Yeah, I think, yeah, like you said, technique is so important in short track. And so for me right now, I think what's most important for me is just getting a good feel, knowing that I feel solid out there. Nothing, you know, too crazy where I feel like unstable or anything. Just trying to get that solid feeling, because I know what that feeling feels like. And so having that good technique feeling, and I'm sure you know as well, like when you feel good, right? And like you just feel like it's so easy. And so trying to really get that feeling again, and as consistent as possible, especially leading up to the games, but also being aware that, you know, you can't, it's very rare, and I wouldn't say very rare, but it's a lot easier to feel bad than it is to feel good. And so having that in my mind and being aware of that, so I don't obviously get too hard on myself, I think is kind of the mindset that I'm taking, because yeah, obviously ultimately at the games is when I want to feel the best. And yeah.
Absolutely. Perform regardless of how you feel. Obviously,
Right.
prepare yourself to feel good and feel optimal, but if you don't,
But you can't
still
control.
you still got to show up.
Yeah. You can't control everything, and you got to control what you can control. And obviously in a short track, it's, you never know what's going to happen, especially in like my five. So yeah.
What about the ice conditions in Milan? Do you feel like they're suited for your style of skating? Do you like the ice there?
Honestly, I will say last time we were there for the world tour, I wasn't in the best shape. So I don't really know exactly the feeling, but from what I remember the ice being fairly good. I would say I don't really know exactly with my type of skating. I would say it can also differ. Like who knows what it's going to be like in February.
It'll probably be different.
Right, and it honestly probably will. So, and it could honestly change from day to day, and so we don't really know. But from when I was there, it seemed pretty good. It was pretty fast for me, and I think I liked it. And so hopefully it'll be good when we get there, because I need to fly.
You need to fly. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
It's going to be very heated competition. There's so many great countries out there that are fast, as you well know.
Right.
You got to be on it, man. You got to be like dialed in. You got to be locked in.
Right.
You got to be hungry. You got to be patient and calm.
Yeah.
Typically, I was talking to Corinne, earlier today, and I noticed this pattern even in myself. Whenever people go to an Olympic Games, people skate a little bit differently. They tighten up, they rush, they start running, they enter the corner earlier than normal, which shortens their exit, which slows them down. All of these things change.
Yeah.
And as we've seen in the past, a lot of the Asian countries, particularly South Korea, something they've done very well, especially in the 1,000 and the 1,500, is they keep their cool throughout the whole race. And they actually create even more patience. And it looks almost easy, like they're just like really just almost dancing and waiting. So just keep that in your mind, right? Like sometimes loosening the grip is actually helping you go faster. And the person that are leading, they will tighten up because the pressure and everything is on them. And if you can skate free, you're going to fly. So that's my what I see,
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
Yeah. Well, look, I know that you are in the middle of training. The team trains in Salt Lake City. Steve Goff's your coach. You got a great team. I know you've been recording some of your journey to Milan, your path and road to Milan, which I've been watching some of that. And hopefully you have a little bit more content that you share even when you go there to Milan, so you can share with folks to see. Because it's interesting, it's unique. A lot of people don't really know the behind the scenes, what goes on behind the curtain in this funky sport of short track speed skating, and you make it fun. You do make it fun. So has that been a good experience for you?
Yeah, so it's something that I've always wanted to do as a kid, is just like create content. I just couldn't find the time to do it, but it could be an excuse. But I thought, especially going to the last games and seeing how much engagement and interactions I get, I also got a lot of feedback saying like they wanted to see this or what it's like at the games, and so I kind of missed my opportunity then. And so especially going into these next ones, I promised myself if I was going to go to the next Olympics that I would make content around it, and also just to like document for myself, just so I can look back at it. And I really enjoy looking back at memories like that, especially when I film it or create content with that. So yeah, I think a lot of what people can't see is what's very interesting to them, and I know that, and I hear everybody's feedback and requests and everything like that. So I'm trying my best to create that kind of content while also focusing on my training, and so that's been kind of like a struggle for me, is
balance.
Is finding that balance of being able to create that content that people do want to see, because like I said, I enjoy it, but also trying to make sure I have the right focus and have enough time, obviously, on the more important thing, which is my performance. So, yeah.
What does skating feel like to someone who's never watched it before?
Ooh. I mean, I guess there's two different sides to this. Like I said, like you either feel really good or you could feel really bad, and it's really hard to feel good. And so, I'll speak on the when you feel good part. It just feels like you said, dancing, and it's some sort of like art, and it's just a whole nother feeling, especially when you're leaning that far over and when you're so close to the ice and put your hand down, and just that feeling that you get of how like strong and how capable your body is. I think is like the best feeling that that I have ever had, and that's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, you pull so many G-forces on each leg in the corner.
Right.
It's incredible. It's amazing.
Right.
Well, I'm excited to watch you. You've got one last block, as we talked about before. There's a lot of stuff that goes into preparation for the Olympic Games. You seem calm. You seem ready. You've got a gold underneath your belt. And anything can happen to these games, as you know. We've seen at the games is when the weirdest stuff happens in races. Like I was talking to Matt offline, and we were saying like there's never a strategy that really goes to play, and it's always the weirdest races happen. So I think placing yourself in those opportune positions to take advantage of whatever occurs, that seems like a good strategy too. So I'm excited for you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. It's the games. Everybody wants to win, and desperation comes out. I've seen it firsthand, especially at the last Olympics and a few weeks ago. Not that it was the Olympics, but and just the fact that it's short track in the sport that I'm in is just crazy. And so anything can happen, and that's where the term um, that's just short track. Like it's short track, anything can happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens, and uh, yeah, I'm gonna try my best to bring home some medals.
Amazing. All right, one last thing. For those
Yeah.
people who get to watch you in this journey and cheer you on, representing Team USA, what do you want them to know behind Andrew? When you take your glasses off, when you take the helmet off, who is Andrew?
Um, I would say I just a normal guy. Like I have a bunch of family members that um they always tease me with this. It's like they always see me doing interviews like these and they're like, "Oh my God, it's like a celebrity or a pro athlete." And then they see me at home and they're like, "Oh my God, he's like the total opposite. Like he's this is not the Andrew that I know." And so for
We want
yeah,
to
I
see. I
guess
want to see that Andrew. Show us the real
right.
Andrew.
I mean, that's why I'm making content. I mean,
Yeah,
hopefully
good.
that side of Andrew comes out. People get to know the real me, and hopefully that can bring in some more connection with the supporters and fans. And um, yeah, if anything, I just want them to know that like I'm just as normal as they are. And yeah, nothing besides the skating. It's just something that I do, and yeah, I would say it's just yeah, I'm just a normal person. I guarantee I like a lot of the stuff that you guys do. Um, yeah, trust me.
You're a normal person, but you're doing
Yeah,
extraordinary things. I'm sure your family and friends are
try. Yeah,
super proud of you. And Team USA is proud of you. And I hope that you
thank you.
can
Yeah,
go into these games and you show up as your best self. You know what you
right.
can
Yeah,
do. I said this to you earlier. There's magic that can happen in this last block of training. Like literally, you can make leaps and bounds if intentionally you really want to put that to work on a daily basis. And but at the end of the day, man, this is your games. You do it the way that you want to do it. You embrace every up and down. This is an irreplaceable experience that you can't replicate. And hopefully, you share that with the world. So we'll be cheering you on.
right. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
All right, that was amazing talking to Corinne and Andrew about all things short track speed skating. My first true love. And see you guys next week.